This right here shaking ought to be a direct signal from my innate system that that's enough. But what did I do? I fought it with the power of the mind, all to establish a new PR. I fought it with the power of the mind, all to establish a new PR. What's happening? My name is Albert. This is a special message to Mr. David Goggins about mind power. Now first, I love David Goggins. Look at me working out with him right here. We're getting down, man. He's so inspiring. Everybody loves him, man. He's the freaking man. However, when I saw this video right here,
just so you all know, I had both my legs broken 10 days ago.
I said, man, I have to make this video, man. Sorry, I have to make this video. And so now, our minds are powerful. We built the railroads, air travel, space travel, science. All the books came from the power of the mind. Plus our convenient lives where we're able to order online came from the power of the mind. The mind is incredible. However, when it comes to the mind has its place outbound and it has its place inbound, which means our mind against our skeletal system and muscular system. Let's break it down. David's theme is within gaining access to the power of the mind to do incredible things, right? Put your mind to it. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. And so now, cool. I love that. And so now I am going to, with the power of my mind, face a deadlift with a lot more weight than my body can handle, right? I go ahead and face it. And I'm telling myself, it's all in the mind, man. Do it. You could do it. You could do it. And then within the process, I bust my kneecaps. And so now for that example, I have to pause for a second and ask myself, okay, the mind is extremely powerful. Yeah, but usually with a price to pay, which brings me to this quote. If the outcome of any victory results in a wheelchair, so to speak, from this power of the mind, then is that wholesome power? Because check this out. Wholesome power would be me saying, okay, I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups. And then I go ahead and face 1,000 push-ups. And my body cooperates and I walk away okay, then that's wholesome power. But that's not what's happening. And so at 61 years old, I have to think like this because it's so important for us to really take a look at what's going on with this power of the mind against our structural system. So now let's take a look at what Google has to say about Mr. David Goggins. David Goggins has had his legs broken multiple times, both intentionally and unintentionally. One instance involved fracturing his kneecap during Navy SEAL training, which he pushed through to complete Hell Week.
So Hell Week is 130 hours of continuous training. You might get 2 hours of sleep. And what it does is it's designed to break a man.
He went in with the power of the mind to do that and walked out with broken legs. You get my point? So now let's take a look at what a few had to say about his broken legs. Him walking with broken legs is a bigger flex. You cannot defeat a man who fights with his own mind. Now that's fantastic, right? Okay. The guy's freaking awesome, bro. He's a freaking machine, right? But he's a machine that's destined to... That may be okay for guys like David Goggins and Ronnie Coleman, but maybe not for us, you get it? Be careful is why I'm making this video, especially for myself. And so now Ronnie Coleman used this freaking mind trick. He used it all the time. Lightweight, baby! Lightweight! So what he did was that he faced his heavyweight by calling them lightweight, which is a mind trick. And then look.
Being in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And
look at his life. And so now, here's the bigger question, okay? Because Ronnie Coleman will be the first to say that he does not regret anything and he wouldn't change anything whatsoever about the life he lived, which is freaking fantastic. Now we have to make a division that there's people built like that that are freaking, they don't mind freaking getting hurt and landing in wheelchairs, right? But then there's the other side, which, bro, you want to have a freaking nice, sustainable, long life, and you want to be able to run around in your 60s and your 70s and not be in a wheelchair. So here's a division. And so now I find it very difficult to digest that these guys are going to be like, okay, bro, I'm limping, bro, but I'm champion, bro. Picture boxers, bro. Some boxer getting punched in the head so much that he could barely speak. And he's like, oh, it's all right, bro, but I am the world champion. And so here I make the distinguishment for us normal cats, where I'm not the David Goggins guy, and I'm not no Ronnie Coleman, and I'm not no freaking professional boxer. And so there's a place for that. And there are daredevils that don't mind throwing themselves off of 10 stories down and freaking breaking their legs. And they're like, bro, that was freaking cool, bro. And so I'm not freaking made like that. Here's the freaking takeaway that I'm trying to convey. I'm trying to convey for us to put our mind in the right place. And so now I want to bring myself back to something to ponder. I do 1,000 push-ups, right? And I put my mind to it. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it, man. Mind over matter and all the stuff that we do about the mind and the power of the mind. So I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups, right? And so I do them. Let's say, yeah, I freaking did it. And the next day, my shoulder's freaking shot forever. Did I really win? That's the new question, because we leave it there. Like, okay, I get to post that I did 1,000 push-ups. And they go, wow, this guy, he's 61 years old. He did 1,000 push-ups. That's one aspect. The second aspect is that I lose my freaking shoulder over it. I freaking busted my shoulder apart because my shoulder took a load it couldn't handle. Like the shoulder itself said, what are you doing to me? And the mind said, you're going to do some more. And so the shoulder went ahead and followed the mind, and it got hurt in the process because it could not handle the load. And so this is very important, because I don't want to do some type of victorious accomplishment like that where I freaking impress people only for me to end up not being able to do push-ups anymore because I have a bad shoulder or whatever. My back, my legs, kneecap, neck, knees, ear, whatever, bro. We shouldn't be out there destroying ourselves in the process of victory. Now, let me bring you to this story, bro. There's a story about two boxers, right? That this boxer, right? He fought the champion, right? And they're freaking punching each other out, punching each other out, punching each other out. And so this guy freaking beat the champion, man. He knocked him out, man. And so now, at the end of the fight, nobody knew what happened, bro. But the champion that lost said that he put this guy in the hospital for a month, bro. Intensive care, bro. The winner ended up in intensive care for a month, bro. So did he actually win? Because now we have to look at technicalities. I'm fighting you, bro, and I get a lucky punch and you go down and then I win. But little does everyone know that the blows that I took from you landed me in the hospital for a month. You get it? So once again, if the outcome is damage from the power of the mind, then I face a deadlift. And I say I'm going to freaking do it. Bro, and I freaking wind myself gear up and I get my mind into it and then bust my kneecaps, bro. This means that I did not get the cooperation from my kneecaps. And so, yeah, it was all mine, but that's 50%. The other 50% of me couldn't handle it. So therefore, for me, I did not freaking win. I did not lift it and do it, even if I did. Even if I lifted it up and then after I busted the kneecap, that is not victory because I hurt myself in the process, which means that I could not deal with the load. And that's important for this video, man. And so now, man, I have to throw myself into the mix. The real me that freaking has utilized the power of his minds doing this push-up challenge. I faced this push-up challenge for 11 months and finally completed it. However, during the process of making new PRs and establishing new PRs, I pushed myself over the body's capabilities and limits, man. And so I want you to take a look at me shaking over here. This right here, shaking, ought to be a direct signal from my innate system that that's enough. But what did I do? I fought it with the power of the mind, all to establish a new PR. And one day, after I shook and shook and shook, I felt a gush of liquid shoot out of my mouth, which happened to be blood, bro. And the blood was pouring down my mouth. Something busted inside. My heart started to beat really fast. And I paused for a second. And from that moment, I approached the push-up challenge in an entirely different way, which I'm going to cover at the end. And also right here, doing this L-sit, I had a PR, a goal of doing 1 minute. And I stopped at whatever, 40 seconds or whatever, all because I felt as though my back was gonna snap in half. Now over here, I'm really pushing my body and my body is telling me no, but my mind is pushing my body over its capability and its limits, where I'm lucky that I stopped and said, okay, man, there's no need to do a 1 minute PR. If your body can't handle it, then 40 seconds is good, or 45 seconds, or whatever I did, man. I can't remember. So now, this brings me to the solution, which is the body has its own innate intelligence and its own progression. The body can't progress on its own without the power of the mind. Let me give you an example. I take 6 flights every single day for months. And so as I face these 6 flights daily, what I noticed as opposed to months ago was that 3 flights before reaching the very top, I would start to collapse. I would start to feel like, and I would feel the burn. And then about a month or 2 later, it happened 2 flights away from the top. So first it was 3 flights away, I felt the burn. And then 2 flights away, I felt the burn. And now it's the last flight. And so sometimes where I'm strong, where I give my legs enough rest, I do the whole 6 flights without any burn whatsoever. That's natural progression. And so there, I could now add an extra flight, 7 flights, and face that. Because now I'm ready to take on the load because my body has naturally progressed. And so this is my message here. To seek natural progression, man. Now, this natural progression, man, because the body is so freaking intelligent, man. Our body is so intelligent. The problem is that we can't understand its intelligence because it's been squashed. And so I had back problems in the past, right? And so the body's intelligence on this matter of my back problems didn't come from me exercising too much that caused my back to hurt. It was caused by non-exercise. And so my back hurt because I was overweight and I didn't exercise, and therefore I was carrying a weak back. This weak back cannot handle me. Too much weight that I was freaking carrying around. Wherever I sat, it was freaking difficult to stand up. Trips to the bathroom was a freaking chore because of the amount of pain that I had. And so I dealt with this back pain because the way I grew up, I expected by the time I was 50 to suffer from back pain because that's what my upbringing told me. Oh, wait till you're 50 and your back pains, right? And so now I get into fitness and I face the plank challenge that took 6 months to complete, where I was going to hold a plank for 6 minutes. It was developed slowly over time from a minute for the first month all the way to 6 minutes, right? And so now, when I completed the challenge, my back pain went away. There's the body's intelligence. And so you have to almost be as smart or tune into your own body's capabilities, intelligence, and then listen to it. If you're capable of listening to it, because I couldn't listen to it. I was surprised into it. I had no idea that I had a weak back. I thought that my back was freaking out because I was aging. But now Now that I've surpassed that and experienced that, and also I had bad shoulders, and that's fine, and also a whole bunch of other problems, and that's fine, because what I did was that I exercised my way over it. But I'm not exercising to the point where I'm causing damage. So there's this freaking fine line to find between exercising just enough where your bones and muscles are strong, and that you tap into the natural progression where you could do more naturally, but without the mind now. You don't want to use the mind. Maybe a little bit, but not to the point where the mind gets the body to push way above its capacity. And so then you have that side, as opposed to taking it to the extreme and then hurting yourself, all because your mind is telling you to do something extravagant. You want to freaking do a challenge that you really can't do, and you face it and you end up hurting yourself in the process. So making that distinguishment between that fine line and making sure you stay here where I'm going to exercise, sure, and I'm going to push myself, but my body's own capability is going to tell me when to stop now. It's not going to be stop at 10. There's not going to be stop at 12. I'm not going to use no counting system, because that could hurt me too. If I say I'm going to do 15, but my body can only do 10, I better stop. And if I start feeling my freaking joints burning inside, there's a certain burn and pinch that starts to happen within, I better stop so that I remain on this area, because if I stop in time, the body will heal and actually repair itself for the better, as long as I stay on this side. But once I decide to utilize the mind's power and say, well, you know what? Yesterday I did 900 push-ups. Let me do 1,000, and my body can handle it. Or let's say I say I'm going to do 500 push-ups, and I did the 500 push-ups yesterday, but I'm going to try to do the 500 push-ups again 2 days later. My body may not be able to handle it the second time. And so this distinguishment can save you. It is saving me from injuries. It's saving me from doing stupid things. And hopefully, if there's anyone that favors David Goggins and you've watched this video, that you can utilize your mind and put your mind in the right place within the matter of things. And not this thing where you're just going, yeah, man, the power of the mind and the power of the mind, and you're just leaving it there. Because when you just say the power of the mind, you're pushing aside your bone's ability to handle a certain amount of weight, its capabilities to handle before. Remember, man, you have joints that are like this. And so when your joints are moving, bro, they're moving within the capacity of it being able to handle whatever load here, bro. But once the weight comes in and starts to crash on it, bro, and it becomes too much, this here gives in, or it breaks, or it tears, or it does all kinds of things, and then boom, there's your problem, bro. And so a lot of our freaking injuries is from our own stupidity to face things that we ought to go, wait a minute, I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to do that for a month before I go ahead and try to do it now, because there's always ways to modify, and you play within your body's natural progression rather than ending up limping around in a wheelchair. Or that's it, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. And so this video comes to a close. And until the next one, David Goggins, man, you're a real smart guy. If you ever come across this video, I know you're going to be like, I'm crazy. And I did it. And that's me. There's not a lot of us. Arnold Schwarzenegger, David Goggins, Ronnie Coleman. There's not a lot of us. We're freaking monsters, bro. But this guy, he's freaking right. Be careful. Put the mind in its proper place. And so anyway, this video comes to a close. And until the next one, catch ya.